You know, we've been doing this for 2 years now, and every time I'm here, I'm always, you know, building with brothers who have been incarcerated, you know, for long periods of time. I just met a brother just now who said they did 32 years. Who else in here has ever been incarcerated? Okay. Well, these two brothers that I'm about to bring to the stage, man, they're two of the greatest redemption stories I've ever witnessed in my life. And I love both of them because they've allowed themselves to heal, and now they're using their experiences, you know, to teach and to share with the same communities that, you know, they may feel like they once harmed. So I appreciate these brothers so much, man. And I really, really want y'all to take in the information from them. My man Shaka Senghor, great author. My brother Shaka Senghor, and he's gonna be in conversation with a man from the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, Wallo, Philadelphia's own.
Brother. Y'all better get a little more excited, man. Y'all playing games.
Yeah.
Stop playing them games. Now.
What up, though?
You know I like to walk around and shit.
Let's do it. Let's run DMC this joint. Fuck it.
So listen, me and this brother went through some extraordinary stuff. When you in that cell, it get crazy. Y'all might see me out here, y'all see me operating like I'm normal. Part of that was because when I was younger and I was in prison, I had to go insane in order to stay sane. So I had to, an old head told me, he said, you still operating off your original mind? I said, what you talking about? And once he gave me the game of that, I switched my mind and I went insane. So when I'm operating in prison and I'm walking in the yard, me and Shaka walking in the yard, and homie over there stabbing homie over there till his arm get tired, I'm gonna say, damn, he must have did some crazy shit, and keep walking. You hear about somebody getting raped, you hear all this stuff that goes on, and your mind is so programmed to be like, but the problem is, majority of the brothers that go to prison, they never go insane. So they ain't got no protection on their journey. That's why when you come home, your brother, your father, your uncle, your sister, your mother, whoever that may be that went to jail, you don't even know them no more. Because they processing and they downloading all the stuff they went through. And a lot of family members, be extremely patient with our people that's coming back home, because y'all don't understand. Y'all really don't understand what take place in there. You got people that's in control of our lives that, I had this one guard, man, he had a fascination. This dude used to come to my cell like every day and strip me out, man. Tell me to get to the wall. And when they come in your cell, they're gonna beat you down and spray you down if you don't, you know what I mean? So it's like, you go through this certain things, man, and you gotta come home and you gotta figure out life. And when I say please be patient with your family members, because the most scariest day of prison is the day you go home.
Absolutely.
Because when me and him come out of jail, all them phone calls, all them kites, everything that we said we never got challenged, and there was never no temptations to see if we really was that person.
Talk about it.
So now you gotta come home. You told grandmom, you told your mom, you told your uncle, you told your baby mom, I ain't the nigga I used to be. And then there's a lot of pressure for the black man, you know what I mean, coming home, and a lot of brothers coming home on dinosaur time because a lot of brothers ain't involved in jail. Jail is like the streets, if y'all don't know.
Yeah.
They got dope in there, they got meth in there, they got crack in there, they got weed in there, they got a little bit of everything in there.
True story.
Hold it to that end, sister. So, you know, we just gotta be more mindful in the community and start looking out for our people that's coming back, because we look at them and be like, we don't give them enough time, because we like, I want you to come home and be what I need you to be for me right now, and not saying, go ahead and be who you need to be for you. Yeah. And it messes us up a lot of times, man. And me and this brother come home and we represent the people that the world forgot about, because we was able to come out here and do some extraordinary things based off of, we was able to protect our imagination. Right. I walked to prison, you know, 17, came out 37, but by me going insane and not being there having to deal with the real life, everyday issues that y'all had to deal with, life ain't beat me down and it ain't take my imagination. So when y'all see me out here operating and killing shit, because I'm operating on a 17-year-old imagination. A lot of people in the real world, y'all lost your imagination. Right. Because a heart women, especially the sisters, y'all done had 10 heartbreaks by the time y'all get 30. You know we be acting like niggas out here. Including me, I still got some dumb shit going on with me, you know what I mean? But I'm just being real.
Yeah.
So by the time y'all get that, men, we go through the ups and downs. There's a battle going on in the black community. I don't know what's going on, but this social media got black women and black men battling like this. It's a clash. Women is moving up, and a lot of us men, I'm gonna say this, man, a lot of us men, we don't know how to deal with it and embrace that shit. So we clashing with them. No, you ain't gonna get, no, you can't. We gotta be real, brothers. So we got a lot of shit going on in the community, and it's adding to that upbringing. Yes, the shit we saw going on in that house. And I'm gonna say this shit, because nobody say this shit. We had this panel, we talking about all this stuff in the community. One thing we really gotta start talking about, and we all see this shit take place when we was growing up in the ghetto. We gotta talk about this in the black community. We gotta get serious about the Charlamagne. You need to create some type of venue this could be talked about. Something that's an extreme issue in the black community, and it went on with our grandmoms, our moms, pedophilia. Let me explain something to you. Since we've been young, we always seen the dude pull up with the Cadillac. He got the most beautiful young girl. She ain't talking to me and him. We 15, she talking to Mike.
Wallo, you loud, you don't need to like. Yeah.
Now listen. Yeah. They knocked me off. Y'all better come to my funeral for talking about this shit. I'm telling you, might knock me off. But what I'm saying is that since the beginning of time in the community, and we overlooked that shit, and so many of the sisters gotta hold on to this secret, this dark secret of their uncle touching them, their mom boyfriend touching them, their money touching them, their grandfather touching them. And even some of us men been touched. So you gotta be able to talk about that shit. Because it's gonna be just this thing that you gotta keep a secret. And then you wonder why when you say something or you go at your woman a certain way or you touch her a certain way, she's like, ah. That's how Uncle Mike used to touch her, man. Like, we really got to talk about that shit. And it's going on right now. Right. Because you got young girls looking like, older women and dudes out here just going fucking ham out here. Because now we made our whole life about fucking money. It's about money, flexing, and some of these moms, let me say something to some of you moms. Y'all got to stop this dumb shit. Hold up. Let me get this shit on. You telling your daughter, no, go out there and give him what's there, give him, he got money. Don't tell him he got money, because when you tell him he got money, you tell him to sell that thing. You tell him to sell that thing. That's what you're doing. So we got to start having real live, conversations. It's cool, we talk about therapy, but we got to get to the root of this shit. Yeah, you go to therapy, but how are you going to address the shit so little Keisha and little Nene don't go through the same shit that Rashida and Yvonne went through? Because you go to therapy all you want, but there's still going to be predators in the community that's trying to fuck on the young girls. So we got to be mindful, and you got to be mindful of the images you put up your nieces and your daughters on your page. If you on there, hold up, let me just say this shit. If you on there and you provocative, you showing your ass, don't put the babies on it. Don't mix that shit. Right. And stop posting your baby so much.
Say that. Preach.
That's it.
I'm telling you, man. I done been in the penitentiary. You know how it is. You see the penitentiary block, because in the penitentiary, they got blocked for the pedophiles and shit. You better not say that to them. They protect them. The courts protect them. The COs protect them. The probation officers protect them. You like, hold up. That was one of the coolest niggas in Philly. That nigga in there. You see all the cool niggas in there. All the fly niggas, all the get money. They in that class. Wow. So you don't know who it is. And I don't care about how much you think you love Mike, whatever. If your daughter say that motherfucker ain't right, he ain't right. You got to roll. Right. Yo.
Yo. Hey, shout out to Wallo, man, and thank you for the jewels, bro.
Fuck that.
It's a true story.
All right, so what happened?
So today has been incredible to hear new language as it relates to our mental health. And so I just want to walk y'all a little bit through who I am, where I come from, and why I'm standing here on the stage. When I was 14, my childhood friend got murdered. 6 months into us first embarking on our journey to sell crack. When I was 17, I got shot multiple times standing on the corner of my block. And this is something that we don't talk about in our community, is the collateral consequences of PTSD and what that looks like. So when I got shot, they took 2 of the bullets out, left 1 of the bullets in, patched me up, and I was right back on the block. Not one doctor, not one psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, police officer, nurse, doctor actually took the opportunity to say, how do you actually feel? What do you actually think? And so what I did is I began to create a narrative, like many of our young men who are being condemned today, began to create a narrative that I would never allow somebody else to harm me. And that if I found myself in a conflict, I would shoot first. In the 16 months following my shooting, I shot 4 different people, and tragically, July 1991, the 4th person died. I was subsequently arrested, charged with open murder, sentenced to 17 to 40 years in prison, ended up serving a total of 19 years in prison, 7 of those years being in solitary confinement, because like Wallo said, that officer that come and harass you and bully you and traumatize you, unfortunately, he ran into somebody who was still in a rebellious spirit. And so I ended up catching another case that almost ended with me never getting out of prison because the officer almost died. But I was fortunate, and Wallo was fortunate. I was fortunate because I had incredible mentors. I had some of the best therapists in the world, some of the best teachers, some of the best trainers, and unfortunately, these brothers are still serving life sentences, or they're getting out of prison after 40 or 50 years. And then I also had a cheat code. I was actually literate. And those brothers guided me to book, and that's what inspired me to become a writer. I wrote my first book in solitary confinement, published my first book in 2008 from prison, got sued by the Department of Correction for the cost of my incarceration, overcame that adversity because what they didn't know is I actually worked in the law library, so I was a little smarter than they anticipated.
That's right.
And like Wallo, when I walked out of prison, it's one of the most incredible days of my life. It was June 22nd, 2010, one day after my 38th birthday. So my last day in prison was on my birthday. On the way walking out, an officer said to me, "I'll see you back in prison in 6 months." Yeah. Now here's what's special about me and Wallo standing on the stage right now. I love you, brother.
I love you too, bro.
I respect you, brother.
I respect you too,
and
bro.
I'm inspired by you.
I'm inspired by you too, bro.
I know you heard that coming out of prison, right?
Yes.
But here's what actually happened when I walked out of prison. I knew I had a responsibility to my community, started a mentoring program using literature, won the Black Male Engagement Leadership Award 2011. 2012, became a Kellogg Fellow, became an MIT Media Lab Fellow. 2013, I actually began to teach at the University of Michigan, a class I co-founded.
Yes.
Only professor on the compound.
Yes.
Only professor on the campus teaching. I didn't have a bachelor's degree, I didn't have an associate's degree, I didn't have a PhD, I had a GED, and tons of experience and imagination, curiosity. 2014, I delivered a talk at TED's conference, their 30th year anniversary. First time somebody who was system impacted, who actually was guilty for the crime that they did, stood on that type of platform. 2015, I was interviewed by the esteemed Oprah Winfrey, who went on to say that it was not only one of the best interviews in her career, but it was one of the best conversations in her life. And then she texted me and she told me that not only was it one of the best in her life, it was in her top 5 conversations. So imagine that officer who said, "I'll be back in prison in 6 months," and he recognized that, you know what I'm saying, life changed. 2016, March 8, 2016, 26 years to the day I was shot standing on the corner of that block, I became a New York Times best-selling author for the first time.
First time.
2017, I met President Obama for the first time. 2018, because I want to get this off, because me and Wallo he talked about $1 million worth of game.
Yeah, that's $1 million worth of game.
I began to get into the tech industry. I'm one of the first system-impacted investors that invested in a unicorn company, even though they said I'd be back in prison in 6 months. In 2020, I joined this company called Trip Actions. And I joined it as the head of their DEI. And I remember when the CEO asked me if I wanted to join. And first I was like, no, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm creative. I'm doing social impact work. I'm investing my money. And he said, you haven't even heard the offer yet. And I said, well, I'm willing to listen. And he said, one of the things that I think is really important is for you to have ownership in something you're contributing your intelligence, your brilliance, your mind to. He's like, I don't care about your past because I see who you are presently and I know what your future looks like. And he said, I want you to understand what it's like to actually use the brilliance that you were born with. And so when we're talking about mental health, we can't just talk about the painful part. We also have to talk about what healing looks like. And so the reason I brought that up is because in 2020, our company went to zero revenue. And I joined up at a time when the company was at zero revenue. Because if I didn't know about anything, I know how to overcome adversity. 20 months later, we had a $7 billion valuation.
Speak on it.
And so to stand here today as the head of sales and success culture of a unicorn company, as an investor in other companies, when they told us that we would be back in prison in 6 months, this is what real mental health healing looks like. And so oftentimes, it's not neatly packaged. It's not neatly bundled up. I don't know what your experience has been like. Every therapist that I sat in front of, you know what ends up happening with me, bro? I end up becoming a therapist. I end up becoming a therapist. Yeah. And so it's a challenge for those of us coming out of prison. I met a young brother today, only been home 90 days. 90 days.
Phew. And
he's in this room right now. When I came home in 90 days, there you go, King. Yeah. That brother that love. That brother that love.
That's right.
But what I told him, his mom, is the same thing Wallo just said. We have to have grace for our brothers and sisters coming home.
Be patient.
We served a time we was punished already. We have to stop punishing each other when we come home. And I'm talking about within the family. The system gonna always try to punish us. We represent less than 1% of the world population doing what we do at the level that we do it at. Like this is like two impossibilities standing before y'all. But what I'm saying is that hopefully we're giving hope to those loved ones coming home. But as a family, as a community, we can't talk about our healing when it's convenient for us. We gotta talk about it when this shit is hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard. We come home with them dreams. I started dreaming in solitary confinement. Jeez. You know, we come home with all this ambition, all these goals, and then we get home and it's harder than we anticipated. And we have arrested development. Like I'm just not growing up. I turned 50 in June, but I'm probably about 33 right now mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? I'm 15. Shit.
And so
I love it here though. I love this shit.
Yeah, no, I love it for you, bro.
Love it. I'm funny. Anything funny.
But this is what our mental health look like in real time when we're actually able to build. And while I got a question, man. You talked earlier about your imagination.
Yeah.
And I remember I was writing on my last book, and I was writing about the toughness and adversity that people were struggling with during COVID, and some of the coping mechanisms that I use. And what I realized, if I can keep my mind moving forward, I can overcome anything. What was it in you in that environment? Because like I know how impossible it is for you to be who you are. Like, I mean, other people can guess and they can speculate. I know how impossible it is. What was it that kept your imagination going forward?
First of all, I wasn't in jail. I was in Yale. I wasn't in prison. I was in Princeton. I wasn't in State Penn. I was in Penn State.
Woo! So, talk that talk.
So yeah. I used to be, I'm just like you.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to read in juvenile facility. Miss Brown, she was in juvenile detention. She taught me how to read. So I always, once I got to learn how to read, it was a game changer. And when I was in jail, I used to always watch Anthony Bourdain, right? Because what I knew that a lot of times we never leave the ghetto unless it's the graveyard of the penitentiary. Absolutely. You know, the graveyards be outside of the hood and shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we never leave. So I used to just be in there like, damn, when I get home, it's the fuck on. That's why I be out here now. Like I believe I can fly and all that type of shit, right?
You flying?
Not no R. Kelly shit though.
No.
How to catch that shit?
You flying though, brother?
But what I'm saying is that I just always had bravery on some street shit. So I said if I could switch the game up, I look at it like this. If I'm in the streets, I got to duck the stick-up boys, the parole man, the police. We do some ingenious shit in the street. Yeah. Just like a dope fiend. Dope fiend get up in the morning, they got to go get that bag of dope. they get that bag of dope.
Facts, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, imagine when we switch that shit up. You mean to tell me I only got to worry about Sam?
Yeah.
And then if I get the right accountant, he gonna help me with Sam. Oh, this shit's sweet. I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers. Because my thing is like, no, straight up.
Yeah.
My thing is like, I always, because that imagination, I believe everything is possible. And like that young brother right there, let me tell you something, young brother. You talking to somebody, right, that I'm 43, I spent majority of my life in prison. I spent 5 years juvenile and 20 years penitentiary. I'm telling you, I first got locked up June 30th, 1990. I was 11 for a couple days. Let me tell you something real important. You can do anything you want to do out here, but you got to take that that shit you was operating in the streets, that shit you was operating in jail, and how you just, it's this unbelievable, this creativity that, you got to remember, we built pyramids with no cranes and shit, you know what I mean? Like you got to remember this. You got to remember this. Little old Harriet Tubman, she got us up out of there. So we built everything. So, and if you go back and look at all the ventures that everybody used today, it was us. So if you could tap into that shit, you could say, I could do anything. Me and this brother right here is the possibilities after prison. And like you said, we 1%, but as brothers, we really got to be on our job. And sisters, after prison, we got to start being creative and stop looking at the small shit and start looking up. I'm the cultural advisor of Google and YouTube, bro. I spent 20 years in prison, bro. But I ain't going there. I ain't going there. I ain't going there talking about some, no, I told Leo Cohen, he said, Wallo, you want to go to Cohen School? I said, I ain't with that shit, man. I said, man, I want to create a program. I created a program called YouTube Avenues, where we go to inner cities of America. I take my team of black folk that work at YouTube, and we educate people how to monetize on YouTube and how to step up on a platform. We went to Philly, we went to DC, we went to Detroit, we're going to Houston this week, and then Oakland next month. So you talking about me? I leverage my partners at Barstool Sports, me and Gil, to say, listen, man, we trying to do something for the hood. Wallo, what do you need? That's what it's about. It's about getting in position and leveraging. Wallo, what you need? I need some millions. For what, Wallo? And it ain't no hard conversation. Either it is or it ain't. But you got to put yourself in position. I need some millions. Well, what you need? I want to give some money to some minority business in Philly. All right, take this $4 million. It's that easy. I do what I want out here, bro. Yeah. You understand me?
Yeah.
You know why? You know why? You know why? Because I believe in me. The same way when I was that street nigga that I believed that I'm going to go out there and get that money every day, the same way I could believe that I could, Lil Boo Boo, and that's why I be trying to tell Lil Boo Boo and Lil Shoot 'em up. Listen, Neff. Listen, Neff. Hey, Neff, listen to this. Y'all the most fearless people in the history of life. Y'all fearless. Y'all don't give a fuck about nothing. Imagine when you could switch that shit up. But I'm going to tell you something, little bro. Don't get weak. Don't look at the illusions on social media and think you losing. Don't look at anything outside of you, brother. Because I'm going to tell you something. Before you went to prison, did you ever have a job? But you went to jail and worked for 40-something cents, didn't you? You understand me? You know what was crazy? I'm a crazy ass nigga. I remember my grandma used to be like, boy, go get a job. I ain't with that shit, nanny. I had 6 jobs in jail.
Yeah, see, I used to get
no bullshit.
I used to get thrown in solitary because I used to quit.
See, I was real talk. I had 6. Listen, I used to block clean. So they could crack your door open.
They fired me for that.
I'm mopping this shit, all that hollering. Yeah. Give me that. I'm down in there. I'm a hell of a cook. I'm a chef. I know how to cook.
I got fired from that.
I was a hell of a cook.
They woke me up one morning like 4 in the morning, bro, and told me to do a job I couldn't do. They was like, you got to bake bread for the whole joint.
I used to do all that dumb shit, man.
The baker quit. And so
because I
quit too.
I ain't gonna front.
But I did work in it though.
I ain't gonna front. I was one of them niggas that I was in jail, but I wasn't trying to be in jail. Right. Yeah, you was in jail in jail.
Yeah, no, I was thugging it out.
I wasn't trying to do that shit.
Yeah. So look, so true story though, right? Like, cause people.
But you got it, bro. I'm telling you.
And we gonna wrap our arms around you for real, man. Bro. We got you.
Don't.
Yeah, for real.
You got it, bro.
Yeah. But true story, cause I do think I think something you said is important, especially for our culture, because we're dealing with a lot in our culture with the young brothers, dying early, the young brothers glorifying prison. Yeah. And there's nothing glorified about that. So people's perception of me for a long time, because I don't really talk about like the real shit. I can talk to Wallo about it because I know he really get it, right? But people's perception is that I had this kind of like come to Jesus moment, or a gift was bestowed on me and I just changed my mind. I started off my first 8 years, I was in so much pain. I was in so much psychological pain. I had, what I learned is compounded PTSD from the levels of violence that I had experienced and the levels of violence I had inflicted on the community. And so I rebelled. I got into tons of trouble while I was in prison. But again, going back to those mentors, to those guides, them brothers saw something in me that was redeemable. And I didn't quite get it when they was giving it to me, but I got it when I needed it. And so what I want to say is that it was nothing pretty about our walk, whether you did it the straight, narrow way or whether you thugged it out. It's the most demeaning, degrading, and experience that you can actually have. And so what my encouragement is, as we're talking about incarceration and we're talking about coming home healing, we got to also talk about what brothers really been through. You know, and I love hip-hop. I love the hip-hop culture. Y'all see I got the Illmatic joint. Nas my guy. I love the culture. But also, and this is another thing I love, is that you're actually talking to the culture. And these brothers are listening to you. But we don't have many Wallos out here talking to our brothers and sisters, the young culture. And we just got to let them know, man, like it's nothing cool, it's nothing okay, and it's psychologically traumatizing and damaging to have gone through that type of hurt. You know, so I just want to get that, because this is part of our healing. Like, our community cannot heal until the least of us is healed. And we heard the brothers talk about black men earlier, right? And this kind of mindset that we have been taught, that we can't cry, we can't shed tears, we can't ask for help, we can't cry out when we're in pain. And I promise you, one of the greatest untapped resources in our community is men who have access to all of their emotions. Yeah. Greatest fucking resource we got available to us right now. And I just wanted to say that, King, man. I love you for that, bro.
I love you too. And you know what's so great about it? The first time I really cried like that, I was in prison. That shit felt good because, listen, man.
How many years was you in?
I probably was in like 6 or 7 and shit, right? And it was just, and it wasn't about something happened to the family and nothing. It was just an emotional, like, it just happened. You know what I mean? Because the dehumanization of black people by black people was something deep, right?
Absolutely.
Because it started with little Kareem or Raheem is a boo-boo. I always use them names. They're my names, you know what I mean? With little Neff, he 2 years old, he fall off the swing. His mom and his dad, boy, shut up, don't cry, be tough. Yeah. We taught that. We taught not to feel. We taught to be players. We taught not to, like, in 2 of the greatest times in my life when I started the contact would just be crying in my emotions and loving a woman fearlessly. Like, being able to say, you know what, I'm just going in. Like, I think to me, love is like when you just let that shit go and you ain't even worrying about getting hurt. You're just like, no. I'm putting myself in a position to be in danger, but I don't even give a fuck. Yeah. But that's hard because we've been taught this idea of, you know, growing up in the hood, being a player. Yeah. We've seen our uncles, we've seen, so a lot of times, and the women, I just want to say this, women, y'all educate y'all daughters on how they supposed to be treated based off of the shit they see y'all tolerate. So y'all gotta be mindful of what she see y'all, because she might see you when you happy for a moment, but she see you when you going in your room and you crying because Mike did some dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? So you educate her and you build her tolerance up based off of what you was able to endure and deal with. So we got to be mindful of that. And it's some people that we always forget. And you know me, and we got a personal relationship with them. But I'm going to say something to people in the community. Yeah, I could do what I could do, and there's some people that could do what I do in different communities. But the people that's the teachers, the brothers that might never been to jail, never was in the streets, that at them football games because the father dead or in prison, that's there being a father to 6, 7, 8 other kids, the moms is cooking for the nonprofit and helping the kids out. All of us got a part to play. Absolutely. Yeah, I might can speak and I might can give it to them because in the ghetto you can't teach what you don't know and you can't lead where you don't go. So I'm speaking from a different point. But one thing that's our kryptonite as men, and a woman really got to get involved more. All of us black men, we sucker for love. Because that love, that grandma love, that woman love, that's just that real love, nigga, I ain't playing with you love, is different. And I don't think y'all understand the power y'all had sometimes when y'all walking down the corner, you see, look, come here, give me a hug, baby. Because you don't know the last time you don't know what he's going through. Yeah. You don't know if his mom or his dad and drug, you don't know, but like, I just want to always salute the woman because like, without y'all, it ain't no us. Like, and I'm being real about that because a lot of times, y'all get overlooked. But also, I want to salute some people that y'all might don't know. In the streets of the ghettos of America, a lot of referees, and y'all wonder why these crimes are so heinous. A lot of referees and officials of the street culture was taken off the streets. A lot of them professors, they was in prison and they raising people in prison. So me and him could come back like this because we got brothers that's, they're going to stay in jail to the history of life. They never getting back out. But they in there educating people. They got degrees and they making us stronger and they never get mentioned because a lot of people don't understand. Some of y'all grandfathers, y'all fathers that been in jail for 40 and 30. I got old heads that been in jail 50 years, 60 years in Pennsylvania that were just giving us game and wanting us to come back out here stronger. So we got to salute them because you know how it is when the old head kid give you that stack of books and say, young, and read them.
Absolutely.
Don't come out to sell, read them.
Man.
And then open your mind and he always schooling you and asking you how you call your family.
Absolutely.
Make sure this. You know what I mean? So
I still build with them. I still build with them brothers today. They write me on JPay and super important.
JPay, you already know.
Yeah.
So you understand the importance of that. But like we really like as black people, we gotta really stop fucking set tripping and stop hating each other and start really loving each other, like on some real shit.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of our trauma come from the lack of love and the lack of the way we support.
Yeah.
And just a hug sometimes. Sometimes you need a, cause I ain't gonna front, man. I know y'all see me, I'm a soft-ass nigga, man. Y'all get a hug, I'm done. That's why, you know, when I get in love, it'd be crazy because I'd be like, I hope she don't tell me to rob a bank because I'm in there. In that motherfucker. I'm in there, I'm going back. I'm like, damn, Charlamagne was like, damn, Wallo. She said rob it, I was in love, man. She told me to do it, I had to, you know what I mean? But no, I'm talking about, that's the great, I'm talking about, and I want to say this to the brothers.
Yeah.
The only way these women gonna really, listen, one thing about women, and I know this personally, man, they know when we doing some dumb shit, man, I swear. Listen, they got a radar when we doing some dumb shit. They just come on, yeah, what you doing? You be like, I ain't doing, what's up? They know you was talking to Keisha. They know you was in what's the name DM. They be knowing shit. Once we stop the dumb shit, this would be a better place. But listen, sisters, I love y'all today, tomorrow, and I love y'all forever.
All right, and as we close this out, you know, I would be remiss were we not to acknowledge the powerful impact of the Queen, Dr. Alfie, Charlamagne the God. What we're witnessing now, this wouldn't have happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This is the will of two incredible human beings and their willingness to be just 100 with our people. So salute God,
Listen.
Thank y'all for having us on our platform.
Everybody stand up and make noise for them, man. Stand up, y'all. Come on, man.
Let's go.
Come on, brother. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Make some noise, man.
Let's go.
We appreciate you. Oh, you want us to stay here?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I couldn't think of a better way to close out than, I don't want to come after these two because Lord have mercy. So I'll just stand up here with them so I can take some of their shine a little bit. So we just wanted to, one final time, thank you all so very much for coming out here. Thank you all so much. And then I want to ask you to please do me two favors. One is, please give Charlamagne one final round of applause, please.
And can y'all do me one favor? Can you give Dr. Alfie Breland Noble a round of applause? Like Wallo said, it's about the women. I'm just one of the guys that's smart enough to let the women lead. I don't do nothing.
Stand back. Stand back.
And then one thing I would just ask us to hold in your hearts, all the people it took to put this whole thing together. It's a whole lot of work. So all the iHeart folks, all the MWA folks, all the vendors, we want to let you know that we recognize you. And the final thing I'm just going to...
Thank you, Thea Mitchum, too. I don't know what Thea at, but thank you, Thea.
Is that the coach?
Okay, yeah, that's Coach.
That's Coach. All right, Coach, wherever you are, we appreciate you, sis. So finally, I just want to, personally from my heart and from Char's heart and from our brothers up here and from everybody, we want to thank you for your attentiveness. We want to thank you for being here. We want to thank you for, it makes me emotional, we want to thank you for investing in your mental wealth, as the brother Charlamagne says, and we want to wish you a wonderful evening. Thank you all so much.